Hello everyone, welcome back. In previous classes, we have designed the API using the API designer. After designing, we have tested the API using the mocking service. We have designed the API, we have tested the API using mocking service. After getting the feedback, we have also modified the again designs, and after that we have given the feedback, and after that it has been successful. And we have, once design was successful, we have published it to the Anypoint exchange. Now step 1 is completed. Now we are going to build the API. For that we are going to import our API into Anypoint Studio using the exchange. Once building is successful, we are going to test it using the API console, and also we are going to test using the Postman or any API testing tool or web service testing tool. So let me go to the Anypoint platform. You can see in the exchange we have published the API, that is employee rating API. This API we are going to import into the Anypoint Studio. Anypoint Studio is a tool. It is a IDE which is used to modify the application, used to modify the code, and it is used to design the application. That is all about the Anypoint Studio. In this having the 4 section. First section is called the server, or here we used to create the Mule project. Under Mule project we used to create the Mule application. Okay, and Mule has provided a embedded server, so we don't need to create a server from, especially from outside. It has already provided the embedded server. So once you created the application, you can directly deploy it using the help of embedded server. That is one most important feature. So we don't need to create a specific server for that. We can, once application is created, you can directly deploy it. Okay, this area is called the property. Once we have the connector, here we can see the properties, we can see the console log, and if any issue happen we can see, and here is the in debug thing we can see. Here we have the platelets or connector that we use to design in this area. So this is the area where we are going to design the application. Okay, now let's implement the project where we are going to import this REST API into the Anypoint Studio, and after that we are going to build the API. And further we are going to test the API. So till here step is done, we are going to building and the testing is okay. So let's go to the Anypoint Studio. Just click on new Mule project. Give the project name that you want to create. I want to create as a employee rating API. I want to create an application with name Mule rating API. Make sure the latest version of the Mule is shown here. Currently the latest version is 4.6 that I have chosen. Here there is 3 options to import the API. First, you can import from the Exchange or Maven. Second, if you have the RAML file, you can directly import from your local system. Okay, and if you having you can also import from the design center. You can download RAML from the design center. In this lecture we are going to import our API from this design center. So let's, how can we do? Just click on here, just click on from Exchange. Once you click on exchange, here it will ask for to adding your account. If you click on add account, it will ask for the Anypoint platform username password, the password that you used to log in, and the credential that you used to log in the Anypoint platform, that you need to give here, so that it can authenticate. It can, here you have to give the username and the password and click on sign in. Once you click on sign in, it will link with the your, it will connect with your Anypoint platform with the Anypoint studio. So we can send the information from the Anypoint studio with Anypoint platform, and we can take the information from Anypoint platform to studio. So vice versa, we can do anything. It is up to you. Okay. Now I have connected with the my ID, that is MuleSoft 719. That is the my ID that I used to log in here. Okay. And just here you have to search the this API that you have created, that is the employer rating API. Just click on search here. Just let me write here rating, it will give me for me. Okay, just click on, it will bring the list of API that is rating. Just you can see this API that is shown, employer rating API, and this is the same API that is shown here. Okay, just click on here and just click on add. It will add the module that we want to import into the Anypoint studio. Just click on finish. Now it will start importing the module. Just click on finish. Now it will import all the details from the this published API to the Anypoint studio. So it is going to take few minutes to import this. So let's wait till the time, so that everything has been imported. After a few minutes, it will be imported successfully, and it will look like that. And if you expand this, you will get these all sections. So let me brief about these all sections. This is the main section where we are going to having the all the interface you are going to see here. This is something, if you want to use Java code, some you can write here. This is the resource section. If you want to keep some resource like that, some files, some documents, then you can keep here, and further we can refer into this interface. Okay, this is something, again this is for the main environment, this is for some test environment we have. Okay, apart from that, you can see here the RAML has been also imported. You can employ it data type, RAML data type also imported, and these all RAML employer rating API, these all RAML have been also imported. That RAML I have created in design center, that everything has been imported here. Okay, so this is all about the this folder. Now if you go to here, you can see lots of interface has been created. That thing I am going to discuss you in the later. So this comprises of three sections. The first section is called the message flow, where we are going to see the all the design and all the interface. Second section is called the global element, where we are going to see the all the configuration detail, database detail configuration, HTTP listener configuration, these all configuration you are going to get here. Okay, this is called the configuration XML. Okay, what this XML does, whatever the interface you are seeing here, these all interface are written into the XML document, and this all thing comprises of this all. If you delete here one part, then it will delete the some XML part. Then in further classes we are going to modify the XML to modify the message flow. Okay, so now let's understand the what is this message flow. Listener will be like that. If you want to send some information to the message flow, we use listener. It is like that HTTP input node. It is used to take the request from the web service, from the client. If client is sending some request, with the help of listener, we can take the request, and in other word, it is like that HTTP input node of the if the IIV flow. Okay. Once request has came here, it will go to the APIKit router. What does APIKit router does? It routes the API according to the method. If you can see, there are three method in the, if you see in the my web service, you can see if I go to under the this, you can see there are three method and one method delete method. This four method is there. Accordingly, you can see there will be four interface is going to create. First will be going to create for the put method. Second, it is going for the delete method, and the third it is going for the get method, and the fourth with the post method. The how many method present in the REST API, that amount of interface it is going to create. And once our request will reach to the APIKit router, accordingly how basically we are hitting this web service using the which method we are sending, it will route to the this interface. If we are sending the get request, it will came here and it will go, the flow will go to here. If we are sending the post request, it will flow will reach to here. And if we are sending the delete, it flow will reach to here. And if we are sending the put, flow will reach to here. Apart from that, you can see there are few error handling has been generated by default, that is on error propagate and this all error handling that by default generated. This error handling we are going to cover in the error handling section, error handling lecture. So in this lecture we are not going to deal with the error handling. Okay, let's keep the whatever the error handling is there, let's keep the by default. In the upcoming classes, I am going to deal the error handling from the separately. Apart from that, you are also seeing there is a one called API console. This is not necessary, but this is used to test the web service. If you want to test the web service, then you can also test using the APIKit console. With the help of APIKit console, we can test the web service. And also we can test the web service using the Postman. So we are going to see the both way how we can test the web service. Okay. Now let's come to the requirement document. Our requirement documents say that we need to create the four web service. First web service is called the get method, where we are getting the first thing. This you keep in mind, this should be the HTTP method. Okay. First requirement is said that we need to create a web service. Okay, let me keep this URL. Okay, let me remove this and let me, okay, and let me, first is that we want to get the information with the employee ID and the employee type as a active, whatever the thing. Okay, and in case we are getting the response as a employee rating, and if employee is not present, we are getting a response as a record not found. I am thinking to modify the response better than this. Okay, I want to response like that. Let me, because this response is not looking good, so I am thinking to get a response like that. Whole detail I want to get in response. Okay, let me paste it here. Okay, so once anyone is requesting information using the query parameter with the employee ID and the employee type, then we will give the detail, whole detail of that person. We will give whole detail of that person into here. Okay, okay. The first case we are getting the employee detail from the database, and we have the member as a active or left, and with the employee ID is this, and we will get response as like that. In the second scenario, we are calling the post service, where we are using this URL to call the post service, and we are basically inserting these details, and this is for the new hire. Let's take example, HR want to give a rating to the new joinee, so they will insert the value into database. So they will insert the value into database using the post call, and after that they will get a response, hard coded response as a like that, thank you for rating your reply. This response I am going to send as a hardcore. Further, if you want to a further modification in response, you can do, but I want to keep this as a hardcore. Third case, third case, I am going to delete the using the delete method. In case, let's example, some of the employee that has left the organization but somehow is still in the database, so we don't want to keep the employee into database. So in that case, I am going to pass as a URI parameter to employee ID to delete the detail. So I am going to use this URL to call the delete method with the URI parameter as a employee ID. In response, I am also getting as a hard code as a employee status, thank you for rating the employee has been successfully removed. In the last method is called the put method. In the put method, I am getting the employee of the existing employee. Of course, in the existing employee is already will be already present into database, and we are going to give the rating of that employee. In that case, I am going to call the update method. We are updating the table with the new rating. Let's take example, this employee having the previous year rating of the A band. I want to give this employee as this rating as a B band, so we can give the update this employee with the B band for this year. So this on in response, we are getting the hard code. We are setting the hard code as a employee status, thank you for rating employee. Of course, in the response we can do more modification, but I am for now I am keeping as a hardcore. Okay, so let's implement each step using the Anypoint Studio. Let me go to the first step, that is called the first step is to configure the listener. So let me configure the listener. In listener, we have the listener is used to get the web service. Once I will hit the web service from using this, okay, the web service call will be came to here listener. After that, it will go to the APIKit counter, and according that it will go to the which method I want to call. Okay, so this is very important and we need to configure it. Okay, so let's click on add and give the which the information of the host detail and the port detail, these all things, let's give the detail. Okay, in host I want to keep this host as a local host. Okay, in port I want to keep port as a let's any random port you can take. Let me keep as a 8085. I'm keeping the port as a. In the base path you have to give like that. Let's take example, I have the web service URL this. Okay, for now I have the URL is this. Okay, let me copy this and let me show you here. Okay, this URL till here it is called as a base path, and this is called the resource section. Okay, that we are going to call. You can see if you go here, and let me close this and let me make it bigger. Once call is coming, web service call is here you can see here /detail is the resource that we are calling. Here /details employee ID is the resource that we are calling to delete. Here again /detail is calling to get the method, and /detail is calling to post the method. So till here we have to keep in the listener we have to keep the base path. In the listener we have to keep the base path, and after that in resource section it will automatically route it. Okay, it will automatically route it. So okay, so let's go to the listener. Let's click on new and just click on the, either click on the localhost, and this will also take as a localhost, so you can keep this also. Just click on the port you want to, any random port. I want to keep the base path as a, this path that I have taken, that is the slash employee. So take slash employee as the base path and just click on test connection. Check the connection is successful or not. It takes a few seconds to, okay, you can see connection is successful. Click on OK. Just click on OK. Now here you have to give the after base path, but how basically API kit router works, we used to keep a star. A star means whatever after this API I want to call. A star is a wildcard that is used to call the any web service after the API. But I want to call like that. I want to call any web service after the employee, because detail is my resource and I cannot keep the resource into the listener. So I want to implement like this. I want to implement whatever the after the employee, I want to implement the same. So here I am going to keep only as a slash star. Okay, that's all, because I want to keep in the, if you see here, if you see here, here I am keeping till employee, here I am keeping till employee. Okay, after that I want to call everything after that, because after that we have the details, and details is the resource that we are going to, detail is the resource that we are going to call in our calling the methods. You can see detail is the source we are going to call the while calling the methods. So let's here as a keep as a slash and a star. It means I am going to call everything after employee. A star is used to as a wildcard everything. I want to call everything after, and this API route, once this will came API kit router. If you click on API kit router, this has also a configuration, and you can see the configuration detail. That is the name as a this, employer definition as this, and this some default it will came. You have to keep at this as a default and just click on OK. Now my listener configuration has been done. API kit router as also has been done. We are not going to touch the error handling, because this thing I am going to touch into the upcoming classes. Okay. Now let's go to the API console. In API console, let me also modify the port number. I just want to modify the port number only. So let me keep the port number at 8085 only. Just click on OK. Just click on first test connection, and after that we are going to click on OK. Connection is successful. Just click on OK. Okay. Now API console part is also done. Now just go to the, let's go one every method, the put method and the delete method and every method in detail. Now let's go to the each one method and try to configure the things. Okay, let me first go to the get method. In the get method we are calling the query parameters, and after that we are sending in response like that. Okay, so let me go to the get method. Where is the get method? This is the get method. This will by default as coming like that here, because while creating the API raml, if you see the raml file, let me go to the raml file. If I go to design center, and if I go to the, if I go to the employee rating API, you can see while creating the get method, we have kept as a we are passing this query parameter, that is this query parameter, and after that we are getting in response as a this. So this is something hard coded response that but I don't want this response, so let me delete this, and I don't require this. Okay, but before that, let me, if you go here and let me select, because I want to select the details from database, so I am going to perform the select operation, and let me delete this one, I don't require this. Okay, in select operation we are going to use this to select details from database. For that we need to first do two things. First thing, we have to write the SQL query that I want to perform, and second thing, I want to configure the database detail to connect, to make the database connections. The first thing, we are going to add the database connection detail, and we are going to here add the database configuration detail, so that our this connector will connect to our database. And second part, we are going to use the SQL query to write the SQL which want to fetch the details from the our database. Now coming to the connector configurations. For that, I have already made a video to download the MS SQL MySQL database. So in this video lecture, I am going to use the MySQL database. First point. Second point, we need the cloud credential to log in. So I am using this cloud credential, and how to get this cloud credential, there is a also video free with the title name free cloud database, MySQL cloud database. I will give the link for the both, how to install the MySQL, how to install the MySQL database, and how to get this credential. This all thing I am going to give the link. So you can download the MySQL database, and you can get the detail to connect to the MySQL database. Okay. After that, let me click on plus. Let me select the database as a MySQL connection. Okay. After that, here you have to select the MySQL JDBC driver. Let me add the recommended library. Just click on here, and it will click on OK. It will add a library for you, and it is, you can see it is a green tick. Now here we have to give the credential details. So let me give the credential detail. My host name I have to give here. Let me give the host name. This is the host name. The port name is 3306. Let me type it. And the username is going to be this, and same is going to be database name. So let me give the username and the database name, and also let me give the password. Okay. Now click on test connection. If connection is successful, it means we are making successful call with the database, and my database connection is successful. And if we are getting some error, then it means there is some problem. Just click on OK, and now click on OK. My database connections has been successfully configured. Now we need to configure the SQL query. So let me write the SQL query for you. Click on select, and we are selecting what we are selecting. We are selecting these details. We are selecting we are selecting employee name, employee ID, we are employee rating, and we year and employer type. These 5 detail we are selecting and fetching detail from the table. Okay. So let me, I have already written the query. Let me copy the query and let me paste here. Okay. This is the query I have already written here. Okay. let me explain you this thing. Okay, I am selecting employee id from the table, employee name from the table, employee rating the table. I have a create, let me before that how basically my table will look, how I am created. I have created a table with the table name is employee, and you can see, let me show you from here itself. Let me go to the my database. This is my database. Let me log in. Let me search this. Okay, okay, somehow it has been disconnected. Let me again open it. My SQL, just click on Rajan administrator. Okay, just click on my SQL connections. Just select here, just I have already written the query, you can take this here also. Select a star from the database and the table name. So select a star from the database and dot table name. Just click on run. You can see I already have one detail, that one column inserted, that is the my employee ID and the my name and the employee rating and the year and the employer type. So this thing, these five are the column, that employee ID, employee name, employee rating, year, employer type. These five and these five column that I am selecting while preparing the response of for the select. So by selecting the details from the for the, because we are selecting the information from the table, right? So we select employee ID, employee name, employee rating, and the year and the employer type. These five column I am selecting from employee table, where I am taking two things. First thing is employee ID and employer type. These two. Why I am taking not only employee ID and I am taking both? There is a reason behind this. If you go to the Anypoint Studio, you can see I have taken as a employee ID as a mandatory with the required as a true, and I have taken employee type as a required as a true. So these two parameter, while making the query parameter, we need to make as a mandatory. So that's the reason I have included these two things, employee ID and employee type. Now why this is I am taking as a dot, as a colon, and the employee ID. This is called a named parameter, and this with the help of this we are going to fetch the detail. Okay, so let me use the input parameter to give the named parameter. This thing already I have also written here, so let me write and let me explain you. Okay, just click on fx and give the details. Okay, what is details, let me explain you. Let me make it bigger. Okay, I am selecting columns from the table where I am passing this employee ID. In this employee ID, I am passing detail from the query parameters, and this query parameter you can see emp ID is this one emp ID. And again, in the employer type, in this employer type table, I am passing the value using the query parameter, and this query parameter is this, you can see the employer type. So this I am taking from the query parameter. So you have to write here as a curly braces, under that emp ID, this emp ID colon, we are taking from the attribute, under the query parameter we are taking from the emp ID. Again emp type also I am taking from the query parameter from the emp type. So these two details I am taking from the query parameters that I am going to pass while sending the request using the postman, and I am selecting the details. Okay, so this is all done for the SQL database. I have selected the column from the table. After that, I am selecting the employee ID from the query parameter and employer type from the query parameter, and from where I am going to get the query parameter. This I have written into the into parameter. Now I need to create the response. To create the response, I am going to use the transform message node. transform message node is used to create the response. Okay, now here I can use the metadata. I am going to use the metadata to prepare the response. For that I need a one message format. You can see I have this message. Okay, I have this payload. I am going to use this payload to prepare the response. Just click on define metadata and just click on add and just click on any type like that. Let me type that the employee JSON. Okay, just click on create. Now here from select in which format you want to get the response. I want to get a response in the JSON format. From here you want to select you want to prepare a schema or the example. I want to take example and take the example file. Okay, now let's go to the E drive. Under that I have the file name. Where is this file is present? File is present into the EYT and the, okay, let me go to that. Under E there is a my name, under that there is a YT, under that it is a tracker, under that it is MuleSoft training, under course resource. This is the file present. Just select it. You can see all detail: employee name, employee ID, employee rating, year and employee type. These all things be automatically populated here. Just click on select. Once you click on select, these all detail will be populated here. The best part is that once we retain the select query parameter, you can see once we retain the select query parameter emp id, emp name, emp rating, emp this will automatically create in the input of this transform message. You can see employee id, employee name, employee rating, year and emp type. It is same as the my database. You can see the database. If you see the database emp id, emp name, and this value is coming from the this select database operation that I have written here. I have written here: select employee id, employee name. This all thing is coming from the, this value is coming from the this select query that I have written here. Now what I have to do? I have to do the mapping. Or how can do the mapping? Just click on the emp id should be mapped to emp id. Just select this like that. emp name should be mapped to emp name. Just like that. emp rating should be mapped to emp rating. Just like that. Year should be mapped to year, and the emp type should be mapped to emp type. Okay, now my mapping has been done. If you see here, it is coming like that. I am taking the employee name as from where I am taking the employee name. I am taking from the employee name under the payload. From the payload we are going, it will be once, one point you need to keep in mind: once this we are going to select the table details from the table, once we are going to select this details from the table, we are going to send this into the payload, and from payload we are going to get this detail. So from the payload we are selecting the emp name, emp id, emp rating and the emp year, and these all things we are going to get, and we have selected as a format as a JSON. So this is also done. You can see, so we have in the select operation we have done successfully. We have written the select query, and we have the named parameter to take the input value from the query parameter, and what should be the input parameter that I have mentioned here. After that I have used the transform message node to map the emp table. This is the table column with my response message, and this should be my response message. I want response message like this. So for that I have imported them as a metadata from this output, and I am mapping this all table column value, this table column value against this emp name. Again emp name we are taking these values, these all thing, and this thing I have created in the data wave. This is called data wave area. If you click on preview, This will create a sample message, like a sample message that you can see how basically it is going to be see the output. You can see my output is going to be look like this. Okay, this is a random example, it is showing like that. So let's close this. Okay, now select operation is done. Now let's go to the next operation, that is the post method. In the post method, what we are going to do, we are going to send this detail, and after that we are in response, we are going to get a hard code value as a this response. Okay, so let's go to the post method. Let me reduce this. Okay, now this is the post method. In the post method, already a transform message is coming with the hard coded value as a thank you for rating the employee. This thing I am going to keep it same. After that, before that I am going to use the insert to insert the value into the table. So let's use the insert to insert the value into the table. Okay, so I am using the insert connector to insert the value into table. After that, I am preparing a response, that is the hard code response, to provide the response as a thank you for rating your employee. Okay, this much thing you don't need to keep like that. You can keep simple, you can remove this thing, and this will also work as a fine. Okay, this will also as a work as fine. Okay, now let's configure the insert operation. Again, we have to configure database. So already I have configured it, so let me, okay, let me test the connection, and let me keep as a okay. Now my database has been in, I have selected database, and now I need to write the query insert command. Okay, so what I am inserting, I am inserting every detail. So I have also written for the quick, if for quick that I have written the insert command. So let me take the insert query. This is the insert command that I have selected. What I am doing, I am inserting the into the table employee table. These are the column that I am using to insert, and this is the same as our table, that is the this 5 column. And what value I am inserting? I am inserting employee ID, employee name, employee rating, year, and employee type, and these all are the named parameter. And the in named parameter, what value I am taking? I am taking this value from my, because this value in the insert it is coming in the payload. Okay, so I am going to take this value from the payload. Okay, so we can write like that, we can write like that, we can write the named parameter. Just click on fx and just click on this. Okay, and we can write every detail like that. We can write emp id, these all thing. Okay, let me, we can write emp id, and okay, it is something, okay, not copying properly, let me copy it. Okay, emp id equal to colon, and we are taking value from the payload. So let me do a payload, and we are from payload we are taking value from the this emp id. So let me select this emp id. Similarly, from the payload we are taking the emp name, from payload we are taking the emp rating, from the payload we are taking the emp type. Similarly, if you see, this is the payload, this is the thing we are sending in the payload. If you see the put method, you can get the detail. This is the thing we are sending the payload. So these all thing are going to in payload, that is the emp name, emp id, emp rating, and emp year and the emp type. This all thing is going to in payload. So if you want to fetch some information from payload, there is a syntax called the payload dot which field we want to fetch. To fetch the details from the payload, we have the syntax dot payload dot field name, that we are going to use to fetch the detail from the payload. That I have already written the here the syntax. You can, let me explain you, and let me write it quickly. Okay, You can see. Okay. What I am doing, I am taking this instead of emp id, I am taking this value from the payload. Under payload the field name is emp id. You can see under the payload value is emp id. I am taking this one. Whatever the value coming from here, I am taking this. Okay. Again, in the emp name is also coming in the payload. Under payload, the which field we are sending, we are sending the field as a in the field we are sending as a emp name. So we are sending as a emp name. Okay. Similarly, emp rating we are sending as emp rating in the payload. Year also sending as year. Emp type we are sending as emp type, and this is done. Okay. So we have inserted the value into database using the insert command. These are the column we are inserting the value, and these are the value we are taking as a named parameter, and this named parameter we are passing into the input parameter, and this is we are taking from the payload, and whatever we are sending in here in the web service, that is going to be in payload. And this is the syntax, this is the field name, it is going to be in payload. And if you want to fetch some field details from the payload, we have a syntax called the em payload dot which field you want to fetch. So same thing we have used here. There is a field and payload and which field we want to fetch. So we in emp id we want to take the emp id. In name we want to pass the emp name. In emp rating, in the from the payload we want to pass the emp rating. Similarly, for the other year and the emp type, we want to pass year and emp type from the payload. That we have done. Again, in the response we are sending the hard code value as a emp status, thank you for rating your employer. Okay. So this is done for the insert command also. Insert also. Now let's go to the insert is done, select is done. Now let's go to the next is the delete. Here if the employee is not exist, we are deleting the value, and in the response we are sending the hard code value as a employee successfully removed from database. For that we are sending the URI parameter. Okay. So let's go to the delete method. You can see here delete method is there. In delete method we are passing this attribute. Let me copy this attribute in the notepad. Okay, let me keep here. Okay, and let me, and here in the response we are sending this value. So for now I don't require this, let me delete this, and in response I want to keep this and remove this all the it is not required, that is fine till now. Okay. Now here we want to delete, so let's use the delete connector to delete from database. Let's use the delete. Here I am using delete to delete from the database. Again here we need to configure the connector. So let's select the database configuration that I have already. This if you go to the global element, you are going to get this database configuration, and in database configuration these all detail will be. So if you set this value one time in the global element, you can take as much many time that you don't need to write again and again. Here again I am going to write the delete syntax for the SQL, and again we are going to pass this value as a named parameter. We are deleting value from the database table. Okay, so let me write the delete syntax. Delete from, we are deleting from the table that is called employee. Okay, and where we are passing employee id, okay, as a query parameter. If you go here and if you see in the delete method, you can see emp id is passing as a query parameter. Okay, so where emp id, let me emp id equal to this emp id. Again in the named in the input parameter we will pass. Okay, in input parameter we will pass this value. Okay, this emp id I am passing in the input parameter as a query parameter. So what should be the query? Let's select this. If you want to get something as a URI parameter, it's not a query parameter, URI parameter, we have to write like that. Let me modify this. This is not required, and that is fine. Okay, that is fine. Okay. So what I am doing, I am deleting value from the, I am deleting from the table and using the, we are selecting the value as a employee id, we are selecting value as a emp id, and emp id we are sending this value as a URI parameter, and this URI parameter I am going to pass here in the parameters. Okay, and if from in this emp id we are taking, if you want to get, once you send this URI parameter from here, and if you want to get this detail, we have a syntax called attribute. Under that we have the array parameters, and which field we want to take, you are passing as a URI parameter that field name. So this is a standard syntax to get the URI parameter. Attribute dot URI parameters dot the field name. If you want to get the query parameter, again there is a standard syntax called attribute dot query parameters dot field name. This is the standard syntax going to be. Same thing already I have written here, but I want to show you manually by writing, so that's the reason I have not shown you. Okay, you can see delete from the employee where employee is this, and I am passing as a URI parameter. Okay, now let's go to the next method. This is done. Okay, this is done. Now last method is left as a put. Okay, because in the delete also we have sending this value, and in the transform we are sending the hard code. Okay, last method left as a put method. In the put method again we are sending this value as a hard code as a response. So let me send this hard code as a response. Again in the, we are using the update to update the table. So let me use the update. To update the table, again in update we are going to select the database configuration. Okay, and here we are going to write the query. Let me quickly, I have already written here, so let me quickly write from the my note. I am updating the, let me write and I am going to explain you. Okay, okay, and I am going to passing as a input parameter as a this. Let me click on fx and just click on this. Okay, so what I am doing here, I am updating a table employee. I am updating this table employee table, and I am setting this rating, AMP rating, this value as AMP rating. You can see AMP rating from input parameters, and also we are send where in where condition we are sending EMP ID from the input parameter. Okay, again EMP rating I am taking from the payload that I am going to send while sending put method. While sending the put method I am going to send the EMP rating, and we are going to send the EMP ID. So these two detail I am going to take from the payload, so I am taking this from the payload. So this is also done for the update. This is all done. Before going to test this table, before going to test, let me briefly explain you everything. We have implemented a, we have taken the, we have imported the API from the exchange. After importing, we have done some modification. In the listener, we are configuring this value as a port 8085. In the base path, we are keeping this as a base path till the employee, because this is going to be resource and that we are going to pass while sending the method. After the, in the base path, we are keeping this as a, if you go here, slash star, because I want to call every method, and star is going to pass whatever present after this, just pass it. Okay, so star is going to be a wildcard to pass the all method. APIKit router is used to route the web service according to the request we are sending in the listener. If we are sending the get method, it will go to the get method of the, and if we are sending the post method, it will going to post method call. If we are going to date method, it is going to call delete method. If we are going to the put method, it is going to put method. There are some, under that there are some error handling that we are going to cover in the another session. We have the API console. In the API console, we have configured also the listener port as a 8085, so that to match with the listener of the that one also. Then after that, we have every method. For that, we have used the select connect for connector, that is to select the detail. We have used the select connector. For the send the detail, we have used the insert connector, and to the delete the details from the table, we have used delete connector, and for the update the table, we have used the update connectors. In the select connector, we have successfully configured our database detail using the host detail, port detail, and these all things. If you want to get how to get these details, we can get from my YouTube videos. Okay, now in the select, we are selecting the these all column you are selecting, and we are in the condition, we are passing employee ID and employee time, and this employee ID employee type, we are taking this from the query parameter. There is a standard syntax. If you want to take anything from the query parameter, attribute dot query parameter and the field name which you want to take. In the query parameter, while sending in this parameter here, in the query parameter, we are sending this emp id and emp type we are going to send. Okay, these two we are going to send while sending the query parameter and the value. So if you want to take the value from the query parameter, we have the syntax attribute dot query parameter and the field name. So from the emp id, we are taking from the query parameter, and again this emp type we are taking from the query parameter, and we are going to give this detail to in the select syntax, so that it will select details from us from the table, and it will give the detail. After that, once you write the select syntax here, it will automatically publish in the transfer message as a value. Okay, this column name will be automatically populated here. Okay, again we are going to import the metadata, and we are going to write the here data wave code. In the emp name, we are writing as the emp name, taking this from the payload. Emp id we are taking from the payload. Why payload? Because once we select, one select syntax will be performed, this all value is going to store into the payload. Whatever the value coming from this table, this all are going to start insert into our payload. So we are taking the value from the payload. So if you want to fetch something detail from the payload, we have a syntax, standard syntax, payload and the field name which we want to import, and this is used as a default. If no value is coming, we are keeping as a blank. Okay, similarly employee id I am taking from the payload also. This all value I am taking from the payload that is coming from the database. Okay, now that is done. Okay, now once it is done, we are going to perform the post method. In the post method, we are inserting the value into table. So we are performing insert into table, and these all 5 column I have taken here in the, and the value I am inserting, I am passing this from the payload. So whatever you are going to send in the body, this all is going to be stored into a payload. And if you want to take some information from payload, you have to use the payload dot the field name. The same we are going to take the payload dot field name, and the field name you can see same thing is there that I have written here. Employee ID, employee name, these all the field name. This field name and this field name is same. Now post method is also done. Now while calling the delete method, we are deleting value from database. For that we are running the SQL query delete from the table, and in the while deleting we are selecting condition as a employee ID. We are taking employee ID, and this employee ID we are taking from the URI parameter that we are going to pass here, like slash and the URI parameter. Okay, and the URI parameter that I am going to pass as a employee ID. Okay, this employee ID I am going to pass as a URI parameter. This employee ID I am going to pass as a URI parameter. Okay, so this is also a standard syntax, that is attribute dot URI parameter that the field name that you want to fetch from the. So we are creating a delete syntax, and we are deleting value from the table where employee ID is equal to the value that coming from the URI parameters. Again, while calling the put method, we are performing similar to the post method, but here we are updating the table. To update the table, of course, if the employee is the existing employee, so we are going to update only name, everything is going to be same. So we are going to update only rating from either he is having the A band or the B band, whatever the band is present, we are going to update the things. Okay. I am thinking to modify this also, not only band, also update the year, because year is also going to change. So let's change the year also. Okay, so let me go to the body in the put method year, because previous year was 2023, now this year can be a 2024. Okay, so let me, I think it should be a comma. Okay, and year is going to be year equal to, and this year I am going to pass into here. So let me write here also year equal to payload, because I'm passing year into the payload. So let me write here year payload and the year. That is done. So what I am doing in the update, I am updating the table with the new rating and the new year. Okay, I am passing the I am setting these two values. The first, what should be the rating, and in which year rating is given, and for which employee I am taking as a syntax. And these three all I am taking from the payload with a standard syntax, that is payload dot emp rating. Okay, so this is done. Everything is done for the select done, update done, and the insert done, and delete done. This all thing is done. Now I am going to test this API. Okay, so let's test this API. Let's now to start the embedded server, we have two options. If you click on run as a run project, it will start the embedded server, and we have option also to debug. If you click this also, it will also deploy your application, and it will start into a debug mode. So let me start and deploy the application and move to a debug mode, so that I want to see how basically it is going to route. Let me add a breakpoint here. Okay, let's see whether it is has been deploying successfully or not. If it will be deployed successfully, it will came as a like that, deployed and successful like that. Okay, so let's wait till the this application is going to deploy, and after that I am going to test this using the. Okay, now it is asking to open into debug mode. I have opened into debug mode. Let's the application to be deployed. Before that, let me prepare the syntax to be call. Okay, let me first check as a get method. Get method is used to get the details from the table. You can see currently in my table I have one detail. I have one detail as a, if I select the table, I have only one column is present, that is select value. Okay, let's see it whether it has been you can see. Okay, deployment status has been failed. Let me see why it has been failed. Let me go here and let me see. Could not create the HTTP 50 could not create a server in the port already. Okay, it is saying that 8085 it already exists, so I need to change the listener port. Let me stop this and let me go here and let me write something different. It is saying that 8085 already exists. Let me write 8082 and let's see whether it is working perfectly or not. Just click on OK. 8082, 8082. Let me here also, and just listener port 8085 was already used. So let me again try to deploy it. Let me save the and let me try to deploy it. Let's see 8082 port is working perfectly or not. So make sure while using the port that it has been not used earlier. Okay, because this will create some issue sometime. Okay, so let's wait till it is deployed. This time I have used the port number as a 8081. You can see 8081. So let's use the 8081 as a port and let's see. You can see now it is coming status. This is my API, this is domain, and this is status as deployed. So now my API has been deployed and this time I am using a port number 8081. So now let's test the API. To test the API, first I am going to perform the operation as a select operation. Okay, so we are going to select the details from the table. So this is the table I have, and this having the this much of information. If you see these three employee ID and these three people are there, and this is their rating, and in this year they got the rating in 2022. These people has resigned and they got the rating as A, and this 2023 these people has resigned and got the rating B, and this people is currently active in 2024, and in 2024 he has got a rating as A. Now let's try to get the fetch the detail of the 1 2 3 4 5 employee ID, that is my employee ID, and what is my rating. I want to fetch that people. Okay, so for that I am going to request this URL with the employer ID and the employer type as a active, because it is also a mandatory parameter while fetching details. Okay, so let's fetch the detail. Let me go to the postman. This method is going to be get method, so let me use the get method. Till here it is called as the base URI, detail is the resource, and after that I am using the query parameter as employee ID is equal to this and the employee type active. Let me change the employee ID as 12345 12345. I want to fetch the detail for this employee ID 12345 and the employer type is active. Okay, let me send the information. Okay, Okay, it is not coming because the port number I have taken as a 18082. Let me take as a 8081. Let me send the information. Now web service has been hit. Now you can see detail has been came here, and if you see in the payload, currently nothing we are sending. But if you go to attribute, in the query parameter we are sending these two detail. Under attribute we have the query parameter. In the query parameter we are sending employee id is equal to 1 2 3 4 5 and employee type is active. You can see the same thing. Under the query parameter we are sending employee id is 1 2 3 4 and employee type is a 1 2 active. Okay, so that's that. I already told you to get the information from the query parameter what you used to follow: attribute dot query parameter dot the field name. The same thing you can see from here itself also. Okay, now let's move forward. Okay, now you can see api right, api kit router routed this to my select operation because I want to select this detail. So it came to here, you can see it come to here. Here it is going to perform the operation from database and it is going to take the this all 5 details from the database. Okay, so let's move forward. And after that here it is going to here it is going to make a payload for the response that I am going to get in the web service response. Here this going to made a here response. So let me move forward. Now let's see what response has came. You can see this is coming the response, but the structure is not coming perfectly. So let me modify the structure. This is not looking good because employee name is coming like that, employee ID is not looking coming like that. So let me modify this and let me make the correct. Okay, so let me again go to the here. Let me stop the debugger and let me go to the get method. Let me transform message and let me make the correct. Okay, in the get operation, in the get we are getting detail as a JSON format, of course, and I have already written here. I think that let me take this as a get. Here it is a get operation. In the select we can write like that. Okay, let me take this all as a like that and let me write here. Okay, okay, what I am doing, I am in employee ID. I am from the payload, first payload, zero payload. I am taking the EMP ID. From employee name I am taking the EMP name. From the employee rating I am taking the employee rating, and from the year we are taking the year, and from the EMP type we are taking the EMP type. This is simple we are doing. And zero it is called because we are making this as a array. We are considering the payload coming as a array because you can see now it is array, and from array start from the zero index, so we have taken as a zero index. Okay, this thing if you have learned the array you know the thing, because array start from the zero index, that's the reason we have taken a zero index, and the field name that we want to populate. Simplicity what I'm doing, emp id, the response I am creating as a this field is going to be in respond, and this field I am going to take from the table. This value is the table value, this value is going to be table value, and this field is going to be in response. Okay, so now it is done. Now let's again run as a debugger. Let's deploy the application, and again after that I am going to test the web service, and let's see how basically it is looking. Okay, again I am going to run the get operation, and after that I am going to test how basically it is going to look. So let's wait till the application is going to deploy, and after that again I am going to hit the web service. So again I am going to perform each and every operation. I am going to perform the get, after that I am going to perform the post, I am going to insert some values, and after that I am going to delete some values, because you can see there are some people has resigned, and these people I want to delete the value from the table. I don't want to keep these values. And again I am going to update some values with the, let's example, these people has been got a rating, but I thought that these people need to be get a B rating, then I am going to update this B rating. Okay, Now let's see if it has been deployed or not. Let's go to the, now it has been opened into debug perspective mode. Now it has been, you can see it has been deployed, status is deployed. Now click on, let's hit the web service again, same web service. Now I have hit the web service. Now let's go to the mule. You can see everything has been came in the attribute. In the query parameter, these two employee id employee type came. Let's move forward. In the, you can get select operation has been performed. Now it is going to take the detail from this our database. It is going to take details from the database with the emp id 12345, and now it is going to perform the payload for response, and it is going to send in response. Now let's see what is coming in response. Now you can see this time it is coming perfectly. Now let's take the another, these you can see currently for more details is there. Let's take another example as employee id 12356. So let me take another example as a 123 and 56, and the status as a resigned, because these people has resigned and I want to take the status detail over detail. Okay, let me correct the spelling. Let me take the, what I have written, RESIGNED. Okay, so let's again hit the web service with the this detail. This time I want to see the detail of the people with employee id 12356, and I want to see the detail of the with the employee type resigned, and if you see the table, this is the people detail. Okay, now let's click on the, let's go to the here. Now it is came to APIKit router, and if you see the attribute in the query parameter, it is coming as a employee id as a 12356 and employee type is a resigned. Now let's go to the move forward. It goes to select operation. Here it is going to select the value from the database, and after that it is going to create the payload for the response, and you can get the response. Now you can see we are getting the response as employee id, employee name, employee rating, and employer, and these all things. So now you can see select operation has been working perfectly. We are able to select the any value from the table. Now let's move for the second method, is called the post method, to check if we are able to, if the people is new people has joined to my company and I want to give the rating, then whether I am able to give or not. For that I am going to call the post method. So let me go to the post method. Let me go to the post method. I am going to select the post method, and this time URL is going to be 80, of course it port is going to be 8081, and this is going to be same because till here it is employee resource. After that I am going to call this operation a resource, and of course this is the value I am going to, let's me give the employee id as this employee id and name as a Rahul Raj. I want to insert these people, and I want to give the people as a rating B, and this and the year, let's take it 2023. I want to give a people rating as a B for the year 2023 with employee ID this. Okay, let's click on the beautify so that it can be properly aligned. Let's click on the send operation. Okay, now we have sent it. Now let's go to the, you can see if you go to now to the payload, if you see the payload, you can see in the payload it is employee id, employee name, and the rating, a year, everything is coming. And I already told you to fetch the information from the payload. We used to payload.field name. So let's see how basically it is working. There is a called the expression. If you click on that, you can test the value like that. If you write like that payload, I want to fetch the details from the payload dot year. What is the value? The year. If I click on here, if I click on upload, you can see it will give the detail 2023. If I want to take the payload dot empid, what is the detail? Then let me, you can see if I click on evaluate, You can see employee id you can get. Okay, the everything we can get here. That is the, if you want to fetch something from the payload and the field name we used to get the details from the. Okay, so this time I am going to use payload dot field name to insert the operation into the database. So let's move forward. Now you can see this came to the post operation. In the, it came to insert, and here I am going to insert the value into database as per this select query. I am going to insert the value. So let's move forward. Now it has been inserted successfully. Let me check to the our database. Let me run the. Okay, because my because my insert operation has been completed, this is going to prepare the response. So let's see whether the it has been inserted successfully or not. Somehow you can see new values that I have sent here is the 00 something x Rahul Raj, that it has been inserted successfully into database, and employee type is active. And you can, if I click on next, you can see the response as a thank you for rating your reply, that is come as a response. Okay, if I want to again insert few more details like that, let me modify the employee id as a something this employee id and make as a name as a Ankit Raj. Okay, and employee rating as a rating, and this is going for the 2023. Let's keep as a 2024, and this is a active employee. Of course, now let's me click on the send operation. Of course, this will go to the APIKit router, and this is the this is the post method. You can get the which method is also you can get from here. Everything is, you can see the resource path is there, the request URI is this here. You can get the, you can method is also post method. Everything you can get in the attribute, and everything you are going to get here. In the payload you can get see here. Okay, now let's move forward. It will route to the insert method. Here we are inserting the value. If I move till now, if you see, if I refresh this, so you can see this only 4 column is there, four row is there. If I move forward, this is going to insert with the new value. Now let's see. You can see new value is inserted with the Ankit Raj with the employer rating A for the 2024, and he is active member. Okay, now let's prepare the response. Just move forward. We will get response thank you for rating your employer. Okay, so we have successfully tested our post method, and it is working perfectly. Now let's move to the next method, is called the delete method. In case you can see currently there is two employee, that is the Raj Kumar and the Rahul Kumar with the employee ID this, and these people has resigned in 2023, and these people has resigned in 2022, and this people resigned in 2023, but somehow this is still present into database, but somehow this is not necessary, so we don't want to keep this in database. We want to delete these operations, so that in the future we don't need to give the rating, and these all thing unnecessary maintenance we don't need to keep. Okay, so let's perform the operation to delete it. To delete the, we are going to use the URI parameter. So let's pass the URI parameter. So let's go to delete method. This is the delete method, and we are going to pass the, till here it is the resource employee. After that this is the resource slash detail editors, and here we are passing the URI parameter as a employee ID for which we are going to delete the details. So let's pass the URI parameter of the employee ID. Which employee ID I want to delete? I want to delete for value for the this resigned. It means 1 2 3 5 6. I want to delete Raj Kumar detail. So let me go to the postman, and I want to, let me give the employee ID 1 2 3 5 6. Okay, and let me send the request. Okay, let's me change the port number as 8081 because I'm using 8081. Let me click on send. Now you can see operation, it is here it is came, and if you go here you can see in the attribute the method we are calling is a get delete method, and in the URI in the okay, I am passing it as a URI parameter. Okay, but somehow it has not came. Let's see, let's move forward. Okay, it came to delete method, and it come to, now let's go here. Now you can see value has been deleted. Okay, so this value should came, let me again another value, and let me give to here because this has also resigned. I want to delete this also, so let me give here, and let me click on send. Let me go to the, now here it has came. Let me go. Currently in payload nothing is coming. This is the correlation ID. If I go to attribute, here which method I am calling, it is coming delete method. Okay, here URI parameter is not coming because we are not setting any URI parameter. We are directly sending URI parameter in the, okay, let's move forward. Now it came to delete method. Here it is coming like that. Now you can see URI parameter now came. That's the thing I was thinking. After the operation, once it is again, now you can see in the URI parameter it is coming the employee ID and value as a 123.12786 that I am sending here. So we are sending employee ID as a URI parameter with this value, and you can see same value it is coming here. Now let's move forward. Now you can see, if you see, value has been deleted from database. This Rahul Kumar is not going to be exist in database because they have resigned our company. So I have deleted value from the Rahul Kumar. Only the active member is left. Okay. So let's move forward and prepare the response. Now you can see employee has been successfully removed from database, coming response. So we have tested the delete method also. Now come to the put method. Let's suppose these people in 2023 he performed the B, he having the B rating, but this year I want to, in 2024 I want to give the rating, and this time I want to give the rating as a rating. So let's give the Rahul Raj as a rating for 2024. Okay, so let's give the, so for that let me select the method as a put method. Select the method as a put method, and name should be going to be Rahul Raj because I want to give the name for the Rahul Raj. So let's select the Rahul Raj, and the employee ID, that is, let me select the employee ID. Let me copy the employee ID. Okay, and let me write here. Okay, now rating I am going to give as a because earlier it was B and he has performed well, so I want to give his rating as a. Now let's move forward, and let's, earlier it was B rating was for the 2023, but this year I want to give as a 2024. So let's select the year as 2024. Employee type is active, of course. Okay, now let's hit the web service. Okay, now we have set it, hit it. Now you can see in the payload what is coming. If we go to the payload, you can see everything is Rahul Raj is coming, employed is coming, everything is coming, and everything is coming. Okay, now I am going to insert with these details. Okay, let's move forward. Now you can see it came to update operation because we are going to update this row value with the new employee rating with the new year. Okay, now let's move forward. Now let's see the table, it has been updated or not. Now you can see Rahul Raj has got A band for the year 2024. Congratulations, Rahul. You have performed well and you have got the A rating. Okay. So you can see it has been working perfectly. Now let's move forward and prepare the response. And you can see you are getting response. Thank you for rating your employee. Okay. I am getting as a response. Now we have seen we are it is working perfectly for the OR method. The get method we are getting the detail. We are post method we are getting detail. In the delete method we are getting detail, and the we in the put method we are also updating details. Okay, so these all four method is working perfectly. Now let's take a one scenario. What if I am sending the wrong response? What will be happening? Let's take the first operation as a get method. In the get method, let's take example. Currently I am not sending, I am currently the no people is resigned, but I am sending is a resigned. So let's see what is happening. I have sent it, and let me move forward. It came to the select operation. It is selecting the value, and you can see in response it is coming null because I have not selected any value. Okay, now let's see if I am not sending employee type, then what will happen. Now this time I have sent them, because employer type is one of the important parameter while we are performing the select operation. So let's see this time what will happen. You can see error has happened and it is gone to the on error propagate, and this time we are going to get some error. Let's see the response. Required query parameter employer type. It is saying that employer type is required, but we are not sending employer type. Okay, now let's go to the another method, delete method. In delete method we are sending the query parameter. Let's send the employee id that is not exist in our database, and let's see what is happening. I have sent the details. Let's see, it has gone to the, let's move forward. Now you can see it has gone to database. It will fetch detail, but currently there is no with people with this same that email employee id. So it will come as the employee successfully removed, but somehow employee is not perfect. So it is something like that operation is not performing successfully, but somehow response it is coming that is not correct. Okay, so let me try to hit some more thing wrong. Let me try to hit this detail and delete method with no employee id. Okay, no URI parameter. Let's see what is happening this time. Let me move forward, and now you can see error happen and it gone to the on error propagate, and let's see what is happening in the error. It is saying that http method not allowed. It means some method we are trying, it is not correctly coming. Okay, let's try to do the some put method. We are sending the put method, doing the put method, but somehow let's take example, year should be integer, but somehow I am sending the it is a string. Let's see what is happening. As per the our code, year should be integer, but I am sending string, and let's see whether it is going to be error or not. Let's go to the here. Let's move forward. You can see error happen, and let's move forward. You can see it is coming that year expected to be integer type but found string, and let's see what is coming in response. In same thing it is coming response, year to be expected type, but it is coming a string. Okay, so this way we can have seen what will happen if something be wrong happens, or wrong thing is sending, and what will happen if something correct happen. So in the fourth scenario, in the first get method, put method, post method, delete method, we have performed all the successful scenario, and we have also performed all the failure scenario in case of something wrong is happening. So we have performed successfully our database call and these all things. Now we have created the API, first API, and congratulations for creating the first API. So we did the thing. Now let's do more thing. We can test this using the API console also. What we have to do, just click on the API console and it will test for you. But that thing I'm not going to do. You can click on the, once you run in the debug mode or the running mode, you can click on the API console, these things, and it will create an interface for you, and you can do the debugging things. Let me show you. I have actually deployed the application. It will deploy in few seconds. So let's it to be deployed. Okay. You can see it has been deployed successfully. And if you go to the API kit console, there will be a open console will be open like that. Just click on the open console. It will open a console for you. Okay, but somehow it is not opening because I have given the wrong URL. But you can see slash API, it should be not, it should be different, but I have given the wrong, that's the reason it is not open. It will open like that, and from here you can test the thing. Okay, that is fine. You can try it. If you are still facing the issue, then just you can ask me, I will help you. Okay, now let's do the thing. Let's me delete this because this is not required for me. So let me delete this operation. I'm not going to use the API kit console. Let me first stop it, and after that I'm going to delete the API kit console things. Okay. Okay, let me select this and let me delete this. Okay, now I have deleted. Only I have now is the main flow. After that, these all four operation: put, delete, get, and post. Okay, let me save this thing, and after that, from here I can directly publish this to exchange. So let me publish this to the exchange. Right click here. Okay, and go to the mule, and here it will not mule, go to the Anypoint, and here it is coming as a publish to exchange, and from here we can deploy this to the cloud hub. This thing we are going to see in the next lecture, but for now let's publish to the exchange. Now it will come like that. My username is this, and the business group I am going to take is this. Okay, and the project name is this. Okay, and okay, and the version that I am going to take is the 1 point, let's take as a 3, and the project name, let me take something like that. Project field name is required. Okay, project type, what is coming like that? Okay, that is fine. And version, let's take as a 0.3, and the project type, let's take as a template, and just click on next, and just click on finish. Once process is started, you cannot. Okay, just click on okay. Now you can see everything it will take from here, and it is going to publish to the Anypoint exchange. Let me go to log into the Anypoint exchange for now. Let me try to log in again. Okay, now it is logged. Let me go to the exchange. Currently this much is present. Let's wait for this to publish. Now you can see everything is downloading from here. You can see log. Okay, so let's wait till the operations to be completed. Currently these two is present, that is earlier this one and this one. Okay, let's wait this to be finished. Still it is working. Okay, so let's wait. Now it will come like that. Your project has been successfully published, and this will give some link for you that you can use. Link to project, something like that. If you click on that link, let me copy this link and let me open in the Google Chrome. And you can see here itself came like that, employee exchange, and this will come published here. You can, if you click on here, you will get all detail here. Okay, so we have seen that how we can create the API in the Anypoint Studio, how we can import the API from the Anypoint Studio to Anypoint platform to Anypoint Studio. After that, how we can modify this API, how we can operate, how we can play with the database operation, that is select, insert, update, delete, and then after that how we can publish to the exchange. In the next classes, we are going to see how we can deploy it to the cloud hub, which is the hosted by MuleSoft, and we are going to apply some proxy thing. So let's see in the next class. Okay, thanks for watching the video. Again, if you have not subscribed my channel, please subscribe it. Thank you all. Thank you.